right. Good evening, E3. Good evening, E3. And welcome to our eighth year of exhibitions. It is not our eighth exhibition, it is our 12th exhibition because the first few years we had two exhibitions per year. But as we learned about design thinking and understood the process, our exhibitions morphed or evolved from independent projects or class projects into um, projects or solutions more than projects to design thinking questions. So welcome to Exhibition 2021 on this June 17th of 2021, our last day of the year. And so we took on the notion of design thinking because at E3 we are committed to solving real problems, to doing things that help humanity. And as we think of ourselves finding our viable path and career, we do so wanting to find something that we're passionate about that allows us to take care of ourselves, our families, and to give back. And the giving back part is really what design thinking is about. It's also about learning um, how to be empathetic, learning ways to solve very complex problems. There is really no problem that we cannot solve if we are willing to put the time into it, and if we follow a process such as design thinking, which has 5 phases. Discovery is really where we identify the problem and write the problem in such a way that we can begin to solve it. It is where we understand our end users, where we learn from our experts. And once we learn from our end users, then we begin to interpret the information that they have shared with us, and we tell their story. After we have told their story, then we begin to ideate, to find solutions, ideas to help us find solutions to the issues that have emerged from learning about our end users from their stories. Once we have ideas, then we begin to put those ideas together in what we call the experimentation phase. And once those ideas come together, we can take different ideas and make a new solution, or we can take different solutions and bring those together again to make it a new solution. So once we believe we have a solution to the problem, such as the iPhone being a smartphone, and back then Apple and BlackBerry were wanting to find a way for folks to use just this one little handheld device to be able to identify their, review their emails, communicate with each other, and also have access to the internet. And then the smartphone was developed. And over the years, we've been through iterations of the smartphone. BlackBerry fell off a little bit because they didn't stay true to iteration. And the Apple iPhone, well, now we are in the iPhone 12. And so evolution or iteration is an extremely important part of the design thinking phase, even though it's the 5th phase to design thinking. If any idea is going to survive time, it has to evolve. All right, and so that really explains the 5 phases of DT. This evening, we have our scholars in about 13 breakout rooms, and we have about 100 presentations. This is the work that they have been working on over the entire school year, going through the 5 phases to find, or the 4 phases and a bit of the 5th phase to identify a problem and then to end up at a solution. So you're going to hear from some of them this evening. You'll hear from about a group of six presentations on design thinking in your breakout room. And the scholars and guests, you're going to be asked to think about as you're hearing the presentations and then respond to these 3 questions. Did the scholars choose a real problem to solve? 2, did they come up with a creative solution? And 3, did they demonstrate learning? And so as we also think about design thinking, we know that embedded in that are the 5 C's: creativity, uh, critical thinking, collaboration, communication, and cultural competence as we learn about other cultures uh, who are our end users. And also embedded in this is the idea of emotional intelligence as we learn about the emotions and build the empathy around our end user. We also learn about um, independence, time management, being responsible to your team members, collaborating with your team members, communicating with your end users, with your experts. And then, of course, being creative in coming up with your solutions and critically thinking about the problem at hand. So all of these play into the 5 phases of DT, and they are also the skill sets that we need to be prepared to work in 2030 and beyond. And in the post-pandemic era, we look for 2030, but now we can talk more currently about the post-pandemic era and the skill sets that we need to be successful in that space. And that's what we do at E3. We look at all the things that we need to do to be successful in the 21st century, starting with our scholars, the reason why we are here, and making sure that they are well-rounded, that we care about and take care of the whole child, and that we prepare every scholar to care about not just themselves, but humanity as well. You see here our website. I'm gonna cut my time a little short here because we must be finished by 5:15 with everything. But you'll find here our website. Mr. Cerruti is going to give us a little bit more on the website in just a minute. This evening, again, we are going to hear from 9th, 10th, and 11th graders. You don't see the seniors here. They presented a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago today on June 3rd. And when you become a senior, you present to community members throughout San Diego and the state as well. You participate in competition at the national level as well as the state level. And so we up the ante as you become seniors. Juniors, some of your projects, if there are things, and even our freshmen and sophomores, if there are things or projects that you find interesting this evening that you want to learn more about, even a project that you have been working on, a solution to a problem that you've been working on and that you want to take to the next level, let your LFs know and we'll figure out how we can help you continue to solve that problem as we move into the next year, or to iterate the solution to that problem. All right, and so after our presentations, you're going to be, I'm so sorry about that, dismissed from your Zoom rooms. So I want to wish you all a wonderful summer. We'll see you back on August the 25th for the first day of the next school year. Now, those of you who have remaining IPs, we'll see you back on Monday, June 21st. We need to ensure that we pass all our classes by clearing those IPs, hopefully by the end of June 29th for S1, semester 1 IPs, and July 16th for semester 2 IPs. So we'll see you back here on Monday. If you're coming back for semester 1 IPs, that's in the morning at 9 a.m. If you're coming back for semester 2 IPs, that's in the afternoon, 1 to 3:30 p.m. All right, so let's finish strong. If you're not done yet, many of you have done a yeoman's job in finishing on time and even catching up. You've had some of you had a few IPs to do and you were able to finish. So that means that you can get it done. You can all get it done. You are brilliant individuals. So again, Monday for those of you with remaining IPs, August 25th. For everyone else. Love you much and have a wonderful summer. I'm going to now turn it over to Mr. Cerruti.
Thank you, Dr. Ward.
Michelle.
So good evening, scholars, families, and guests. I'm so excited to welcome you tonight. this place has just been buzzing both online and in person with people completing their work on their projects. Now, scholars, you are not just presenters tonight, you are also the audience member. Not just to think about the questions we're going to be asking tonight. Has this team tackled a real problem? Did they come up with a meaningful solution? And have they demonstrated what they've learned? Those are the focus questions. But I want you to be thinking, is this a project I would be interested in taking on? If the project you're working on or one that you see tonight is of interest to you, let your LF know. They'll forward that to me. We'll see if we can't get you working on that next year. We want you to pick up these projects and make them something that you can work on year after year to get to a real product. We have our own scholars who are out there starting businesses, and there's no reason that you can't create something of your own in high school. Now, maybe you're not going to get to see the presentation you wanted tonight. That's okay. Our exhibition lives on. On the website at the top, you'll see that there's a pull-down menu for each grade level with a LF inside, and you can go and browse through the projects that way. There's also a magnifying glass at the top of each page. So if you want to find a project about homeless, you can click on the magnifying glass and just type in any keyword, and it will give you a list of projects that relate to that topic. And you can go through and click those and watch the videos that have been uploaded. Now, not all the videos are up there, but hopefully by the end of tonight, we'll have everything up on the site so that you can come back in and go through these and see what other people in the class are doing. And then for our guests, we will be giving you a form to complete at the end of each presentation so that the scholars can get your feedback. This is an important part of our design process, so they get that feedback and they think about how they could incorporate it to make their product better. As Dr. Ward said, this is a product, this process leads us to the evolution. Learning facilitators, let's give our scholars well wishes on the way out. For many of them, it'll be a break before we see them. And remind them about looking for that job or taking that summer course. And we will be here to support them in any way we can, so they can certainly reach back to us to do that. I haven't got anybody waiting in our lobby to find a presentation room. So learning facilitators, feel free to go ahead at this time and start the presentations so that we can get everybody finished up and take our time and get through these presentations. And thank you for coming this evening.